So the term tilted seems to be a catch-all phrase for anxiety, anger, depression, sadness, being demoralized. Yeah, I think so. I think tilt or being tilted is definitely a catch-all phrase that just describes the experience. Nay. Describes the negative performance driven by a strong emotional response. So may that strong emotional response be strong anxiety or worry, may it be anger, upsetness, frustration, irritation, maybe like sadness, that the loss, depression, grief, demoralized, hopelessness, all of it, whatever that strong emotion may be, which leads to decreased performance, which is the tilt. So I think this is part of it, and it's like an angle to the tilt, and sometimes anxiety may be a precursor to the tilt, because I think, okay, we're Bowen, this is why I love you, my dude. This is why I love you. Please keep coming to the show. This is what I need. Okay, so let's go left real fast. Let's go left. This is what I fucking love. Okay, so, and this is so great. Like this, you know, I love that these shows like go full circle and they're all connected, right? Like that's the best part. Okay, let's talk about tilt over here. Hope if you guys can see it or can't see it, let me know. Okay. So when I think about tilt and the way it relates to anxiety, I think sometimes anxiety is a precursor to tilt. And the reason I think anxiety is a precursor and sometimes a reason for tilt is because when you think about anxiety, oftentimes, and I'll connect this to two, this is because, you know, you worry. And oftentimes it's with anxiety, if you want to think about, you know, if you want to think of like depression and anxiety on like a continuum, to very simply, like, just to simplify it, right? Just to put it in very simple terms, if you want to think about it, if anxiety is over here, think of like the future. Think of, oh my gosh, if I do this, then XYZ will happen. If I think about, you know, if I don't do this, then this is going to mean this for my life. Or if I don't win this game, then I'm going to derank. Or if I, you know, miss this shot, people are going to think I'm stupid or whatever, right? So we're thinking about the future with anxiety. Where depression, typically, you want to think about past. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I said that. Oh my god, I can't believe I made that mistake, or I'm so dumb, I wish I shoulda, coulda, woulda. Oh my gosh, and because of that, we're like sadder, or we have more remorse or regret for that thing in the past. That's depression. So if you want to think about, you know, past and future, think anxiety future, depression more in the past. Our goal is not to be in one of these two extremes, but our goal in life is to be somewhere in the middle, right? Somewhere in the middle where you're not thinking about the past, you're not thinking about the past, you're not thinking about the future, but you're here in this present moment, experiencing whatever is going on. And if you want to think about this in the same game terms, it relates very similarly, where if you are trying to play like optimal gaming, think of like 30 seconds to a minute in the future. Like that is how far, if you're going to use future-orientated thinking, in my opinion, you want to live. 30 seconds to a minute in the future, predicting, strategizing, thinking, using your tactics, that far ahead. But what happens sometimes is what happens when you think about the last round, that last mistake, the mess up you've made, the miscoms, or whatever. Now you're no longer being here in the future, in the present, or a minute to 30 seconds in the future. You are in the past. You are reliving a mistake or something that you can't go back and fix, and so you're kind of stuck there. And you just kind of ruminate about that mistake, but again, you're no longer thinking about the present or what to do now, because you're thinking about that thing, and that thing's acting like a weight, and it's holding you back. Now, on the other hand, think of when you have, this relates to anxiety too, when you think too far in the future about what this game might mean, what this mistake might mean, what this play might mean, and now you're thinking way far, an hour, 30 minutes, 20 minutes ahead in this future. Now, if you do this because, you know, you're worried about what it means or whatever, you are now creating a future that technically doesn't exist yet. It's not real, but you're thinking about how it could be real, or the things that you want to avoid, or the scariness of this terrifying future reality that doesn't exist, because we're not in this present. We have to make this present thing work to make the future happen. You know what I mean? So again, it's prime esports, staying here in the present, being experiential to about 30 seconds to a minute ahead. I think that's where you definitely want to try to live, and that's how you think about like the past future thing. Ahistorical. There is no sense of time, but really the ever-present pain of the present. Ooh, that is deep, Owen, and that's reminding me of like my angsty childhood emo days. Oh my god, no one understands what it's like to be a kid, man. That was it. There's actually a song that starts like that. Do you ever feel like breaking down? Do you ever feel like da 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 da? You know that song? That's what that reminds me of. Absolutely. I think when I work with players too, and they use tilt or these blanket statements, right? What I try to do, and I think if you do this to yourself too, like, oh my gosh, you know, I'm so tilted, and use this blanket statement, or you know, whatever you're feeling, it's a doomer. This is done. I suck, or whatever. I think when you like use these blanket statements, or what I try to do with players when they describe their experience very broadly, what I try to do is like, okay, what do you mean? Like, define tilt for me. Like, when you say tilt, like, how do you experience it? How does it... Welcome to my life, that's it. Like, how do you experience tilt? You know, what made you tilted? How is this affecting you? Like, all those kinds of things. So if I can label it, then we can be more specific about when the tilt happens, how it affects them, and all these kinds of things. So we can separate the emotional experience from the performance, or how the emotional experience affected their performance versus just tilt.